I once had a family, but they up and left me with nothing but an 8-track, another side of George Jones. I was in high cotton, just banging on my 6-string, kicking at the trash can, walking skin and bones. I can see a back porch if I close my eyes now. I can hear the train tracks through the laundry on the line. I'm thinking it's your business, but you don't gotta answer. Knocking on your screen door in the summertime. Knocking on your screen door in the summertime. Yeah, let's do it. Ding 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 ding, Mike's music method. Ding 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 ding. Boom! Come on in, everybody. Today we are doing another John Prine song, Knockin' on Your Screen Door. I told you guys I was going to do a bunch off the Tree of Forgiveness album in these coming weeks. Here's another one. I love this record. Let's do it. This video is a 3-fer, guys. You're going to learn how to strum the song. I give you a little bonus. You can pick Strum It too, implying the bass line. But you're also going to learn the melody on the guitar. I've tabbed it out for you. And then finally, we are going to learn some theory, and we are going to analyze the melody together. Why is it cool? Why does it work? What's happening with the scale degrees? Yeah! Remember, mikesmusicmethod.com. The tabs there are free to download, and there will be 2 to download with this song because we'll have the actual guitar part and then the melody analysis as well. Let's dive in first and learn the guitar part. Boom! Let's start with the guitar part real simple. We got the capo on the 2nd fret, got an A major chord, and our pattern is down, down, miss, up, down, down, miss, up, down, up. I'm using my fingers. I always brush down with the nail of my pointer finger, brush up with the pad of my finger, but you can use a pick if you want. So we have down, down, miss, up, down, up. And think of your pendulum fulcrum thing always moving. So you're not doing down, down, and holding it up, down, up. You're doing down, down, miss, up, down, up. That's super important to always keep your rhythm solid, especially at quicker speeds. Down, down, miss, up, down, up. And that pattern right there is what we're doing for about 95% of the song. The second measure here is a little different. He's doing down, so the rhythm's going to be 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So now it's down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And he lifts the A chord to give it a little artificial motion here. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So it's on the and of that 3rd beat. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So the whole intro, we just put those 2 together. 3, 4, down, down, miss, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. One more time. 3, 4, 1, 2, miss, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and here's it up to speed. Now, if you're having trouble with that, Strum It Like a Cowboy. I have my first ebook that is all about right hand strumming. There's a little bit of pick strum in there, but it's really just a book that goes through all sorts of right hand technique, not finger picking. I got a whole nother ebook in the works that I'm super excited about. But this strumming one is like the fundamentals. You should be able to strum good before you start finger picking. And strumming is just, you need to strum. Every guitarist needs to be able to strum, but it's hard to find something that's comprehensive and covers all the strumming mechanics, but I do that with Strum It Like a Cowboy. It's like an 80-page ebook with almost 90 minutes of accompanying video material, so you have demos of all the stuff in there. Check it out at mikesmusicmethod.com. And that first pattern is going to be the entire song for the most part. Of course, there's a little bit of variation. That's why you should get Strum It Like a Cowboy, so you can go through that variation without even realizing that you're doing it. But the meat and potatoes is just down, down, miss, up, down, up. So we have that intro part, and then we just go straight into the verse here. I ain't got nobody. Then a D D chord, hanging around my doorstep. Ain't got no loose change. Down, down, miss up, down, miss up, down. And that's going to be the whole thing. We'll run through the whole chord chart together, but you're just doing that same pattern over the changing chords. One other thing to note, if you're playing solo guitar and you want to beef it up, this is one of these songs where the bass is so prominent that I would put the walk in there. So what I would do is pick with my thumb on the 5th string, pick down, yeah, something like that. So it'd be like pick, down, then pick an alternating bass string, up, down, up. So I got pick, down, pick up, down, up, pick, down, pick up, down, up, pick, down, pick up, down, up, pick, down, pick up, down, up. That way you're getting variation, kind of like you have a bass player in there. Sorry, D. It just sounds cooler for solo guitar. So however you want to do it, I didn't tab that out because that's not what Prine is doing, but feel free to make it as simple or as involved and colorful as you would like. All right, that's it. You guys already did it. The tutorial's over, that part of it. We are just gonna play through the whole song together here. Just strum along with me. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I ain't got nobody hanging around my doorstep. Ain't got no loose change just to hang around my jeans. If you see somebody, would you send them over my way? I could use some help here with a can of pork and beans. Same strumming, we just did it quicker on those changes. I once had a family, but they up and left me with nothing but an 8-track. Another side of George Jones. I was in high cotton, just a banging on my 6th string, kicking at the trash can, quick E, walking skin and bones, back to the A. Then the chorus keep going, but a D chord. I can see a back porch if I close my eyes now. I can hear the train tracks through the laundry on the line. I'm thinking it's your business, but you don't gotta answer. Knocking on your screen door in the summertime. And we got this little instrumental part, which is A to the D. And notice I'm not varying the pattern at all. Still do back to A. Still down, down, miss, up, down, down. Then an E. And we got the last verse. Everybody's out there. Does he mellow it out here? Climbing on the trees now, swinging in the breeze now, hanging on the vine. I'm dreaming about a sailboat. I don't need a fur coat. Underneath the dashboard, quick E. I got sweet potato wine. Back to the chorus. I can see a back porch if I close my eyes now. I can hear the train tracks through the laundry on the line. I'm thinking it's your business, but you don't gotta answer. I'm knocking on your screen door in the summertime. Then we tag it. I'm knocking on your screen door in the summertime. Forget how quick the EA is at the end. That's it, guys. It's that simple. Down, down, miss, up, down, up. If you're going to do that alternate bass stuff, always start with the root of the chord. So if it's an A chord, pick the A string first. Then either alternate towards the floor or towards the ceiling. Both sound cool. So then if it's a D chord, I'm going to start on the 4th string because that's the D string. Back to the A, and then the E would just be 6. You don't have a choice, you have to go down. So you could do 6 to 5, or you can go 6 to 4. And once you get good, you could do more than just 2. You could do like 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 3. Kind of endless options. That one's a little high. If you want to mimic the bass, maybe just do the adjacent strings. But you get the idea. Then as you get better, maybe you do pick up, down, up, pick up, down, up, or you can get more strumming in between the picks. Boom! Let's dive into the melody. Remember, there are 2 documents to download at mikesmusicmethod.com. One is the tab, one is the chord chart. Let's go back to the tab here, and we're going to talk through that. So capo's on 2, and I just wrote out the melody for you. Now, this is such an underappreciated thing to do, and when I teach people music, no one is doing this really before I teach it to them, or very few of my students are familiar with this, but to me it helped me immensely, not only as a guitarist, but as a singer for sure. Like, I would not be nearly the singer I am if it weren't for doing this a lot. What we're doing with this is we're just going to play the melody on the guitar. It's awesome for so many reasons. You're actually learning a practical use of a scale because it's in a key and it's in a scale, but it's a scale in the context of a super catchy melody, which is what even improvising is all about. It's not just knowing all your scale notes and how to play them really quickly. It's about using them in a way that sounds cool. And what better way to do that but learning a great melody? The other thing that it does is singing is very abstract, and even if you think you know the melody of a song, I can almost promise you, you don't actually know the melody of the song. What I mean is that there's so many syllables, and often as singers, it's like, okay, I know it goes up here, I know I end on this note, but do you know what you actually should be singing on every single syllable? So when you take that abstraction and you put it on the guitar, all that stuff becomes so much clearer, and all of a sudden maybe you were what used to be blurry, now we've like put on the binoculars, and whoop, we really get in there and you fine tune it. And as you do this more, your ear and your voice start to have like just a finer resolution. You go from like low fidelity to high fidelity and how you're able to sing these notes on pitch. So let's do all this. So here's our melody on the guitar. I'm assuming you guys know how to read tabs, so I'm not going to bore you with 4-2, walk you through the whole thing, all right? The tab is up here, and it's available for free download. Immediately when you do this on the guitar, we're in the key of A, so maybe you might, if you don't know your scales, you can maybe look up a couple. This is A in open position. That's the lower octave of it, at least. And I would encourage you to just be aware of scale degrees. So even more importantly than doing like A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, that's important. But more important, I would argue, is just the scale degrees, right? Whether it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or just giving them numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? 1 an octave higher. Get used to that stuff. Don't worry if you don't know it perfectly. You learn little by little, and you can still totally keep watching this video. Right off the bat, we're going to start singing, though. I ain't got nobody. And this is awesome because now the guitar is our crutch, and it's letting us know when we're off, even if we're a little off, or maybe we were way off and weren't even on the right note. So go really slow. My advice often is to sing like Sinatra. Just make everything a real crooner. I ain't got nobody. The next part. Hanging round my doorstep. And I know this will sound a little different because often Prine is like hanging around my doorstep. Like he's almost talking the word. So sometimes I have to sneak in and kind of imply the melody here. And then let's keep going. Ain't got no loose change, just a hanging round my jeans. And there he's sliding, hanging around my jeans. It's really quick, but it's in there. Hanging round my jeans. Just a hanging round my jeans. And if you see somebody. There the rhythm, he like hesitates on that somebody part. It's kind of cool. Would you send them over my way? I could use some help here with a can of pork and beans. So those are all the parts. What I do is sing it a bunch with the guitar as my crutch. Then each phrase, can I sing it without the guitar at all? Maybe you'll use the chord as a help. What I mean by that is play the melody first. I ain't got nobody with the guitar. Then play the chord. I ain't got nobody. But the ultimate test is nothing, right? A cappella. Maybe you give yourself the starting note. I ain't got nobody. Also, what helped me immensely with singing is in your mind's eye, visualize if your note's staying the same, if it's going up or if it's going down. And if that's hard for you, you can use the siren technique. I ain't got nobody. And again, maybe you have really terrible low fidelity and like you have to like grind it out in that siren to hear it. But I promise you over time, I ain't got nobody. I may not know in my mind exactly how many frets down each one is, like what the interval is, but it doesn't matter. Just knowing that it goes up or down is a huge, huge victory, and how quickly you're going to be able to hear songs, how much better you're going to be able to replicate them with your voice as well. And that's it. It's really simple, but it is so profound, especially once you get to the point where you've done this with 20 or 30 or 40 melodies. Not only are you singing better, really being hyper aware of what you're singing, what those intervals are motion-wise, up, down, staying the same, but you're also learning so many cool, catchy melodies on the guitar with your voice that when it comes to songwriting or learning a new song, you're just going to intuitively have that much better of an ability to be able to do it. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, Mike's Music Method donation pitch. Y'all, if you're this far in the video, you're getting value from this tutorial. And guess what? Here's the value for value model, all right? I'm going to pitch it. All of this stuff is quote-unquote free. I want to keep it available to everybody, young people, old people, people who don't have the money, who can't prioritize music in their life, who just want to check it out before they are willing to commit financially, whatever the situation might be. I want this to reach as many people as possible. But the only way that works is if those of you who can't afford, it's kind of like the honor system, if you can't afford, please pitch in. And another thing that's awesome about this is that it's up to you, right? What are these worth to you? That's what I'm asking you. Some ideas, maybe every time you learn a song, you're throwing me $20, $10. Maybe you're like, man, this is like worth guitar lessons every month. Maybe you can give me $150 a month, $50 a month, $1 a month. I don't know what these videos are worth to you, but imagine if Mike's Music Method disappeared on YouTube. Tomorrow, you might be like, dang, I could have given Mike, I could have mustered up $25 a month or whatever to keep the channel going. And the more you guys give, it's just giving me more time, right? I've got the fourth kid is almost here. I mean, the fourth kid is in the belly, but soon, top of February. And I teach private music lessons. But honestly, guys, I would love for this to be like close to my full-time gig. Obviously, I'll always teach, but if I could do more of this, that would be awesome. I could crank out more theory stuff, how to get better at guitar stuff, as well as more tutorials. So the more you guys are willing to give, you're just buying me time, right? And also you can think of it as like a charitable giving, because when you guys give, it's what allows this channel to be absolutely free for everybody else who can't afford it. And just read the comments below some of these videos. It's very encouraging. So go read those comments. A lot of people are really learning from the channel, getting awesome value, finger picking songs they never thought they'd be able to finger pick. And it's because of supporters like you, which makes me thank all my patrons. You guys are awesome. You know who you are if you're giving. Thank you. You're doing something great here with this channel. A lot of people are learning from it. So thank you guys. Now that you get the idea, let's just run through the chorus here. He kind of goes from the verse to the chorus on this. I can see your back porch. Sorry, chord change there, yeah. I can see your back porch. If I close my eyes now, I can hear the train tracks. You can tell that I don't really know the melody that well here either. Now that you got the idea, let's just run through the chorus so that you got the whole thing here, just in case there's any confusion. You see me do it once. So that's the transition. It goes from the verse to the chorus there. I can see your back porch. If I close my eyes now, I can hear the train tracks. That one always gets me because it starts higher. I can hear the train tracks through the laundry on the line. Again, he slides on the word line there. I'm thinking it's your business, but you don't have to answer. I'm knocking on your screen door in the summertime. That's it. You got the whole thing. Boom! Now for the fun part, we are going to analyze this song. If you don't know any theory or know nothing about building chords, I have a few videos to probably check out first. One is there's a playlist, Melody Analysis, I think. I'll look up the name of it. I'll make sure to link to the right one here. But I analyze the melody to a bunch of songs. It's melody writing, I think is what it's called. But watch a few of those videos. There's only like 4 or 5. And then this annoys me because when I do live streams, I haven't done a ton, but when I do live streams, they don't show up under my videos. You have to go to the live tab on the Mike's Music Method YouTube page, which is annoying. But I have a great Music Theory 101 video that you should definitely watch. It's not too heady, but it walks you through the basics of music theory. So I'd recommend at least looking at that melody writing thing, probably that Music Theory 101. It's going to make this a lot easier to understand. Not that this is super complex, but you need a little bit of groundwork before you're going to get it. So we are in the key of A, and we're just going to call that the 1 chord. Now, when you build a triad, you take a note, the first one, you skip a note, take the 3rd one, skip a note, take the 5th one. So a 1 chord has 1, 3, and 5, or do, mi, so, right? Do, mi, so, 1, 3, 5. That's how you build triads or chords. You're always skipping one of the notes in the scale. Now, if we look at the melody, you can see how I wrote it here. We're going to look at the chord chart, not at the tab. So download the chord chart that I have, scroll down to the melody analysis, and here we go. So you see I have the A chord written. That's the 1, the 3, and the 5. And then I've numbered the intervals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what we do in the melody, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 5. So the numbers represent the scale degree. And this is what's cool about analyzing songs. You realize how simple they are. So if you look down below, everything in black is a chord tone. So that would be, if he's singing the 1, the 3, or the 5, he's simply singing one of the notes in the chord. Then we have things called passing notes, which is if we're going to, on an A chord, and 1, 3, and 5 are the notes, and I do 1, 2, 3, 1's a chord tone, I passed through 2, the passing tone, up to 3. So note, passing, chord tone again, chord tone, passing, chord tone. A neighbor is just when you go up, like chord tone, go up to a non-chord tone, go right back down. We call that a neighbor. Bum, bum, bum. Chord tone, go up to a neighbor, come right back home. Then we have an anticipation is when you're going to like a note in the next chord before you're on the next chord, but then the next chord would come. So you've anticipated the note in it. I've talked a lot about that with finger picking. Suspension is when you stay on a chord tone from a previous chord, even though we've gone on to the next one. So we're suspending the melody note over into the next chord. So let's look through this. On this first line, 1, 2, 3, I ain't got nobody. He's basically, this is our chord tone, this 3rd scale degree. I ain't got, and he quickly goes off it, but right back to the chord tone. I ain't got no, then he walks through it here, buddy. And you'll notice it's mainly chord tones with just a little neighbor tone to give it some movement so it isn't boring. Here we're still on the A chord, we still have the same neighbor tone idea. Hanging round my door. Here we change the chord to a D. But that note A is still in the D chord because a D chord uses the intervals 4, 6, and 1. That's the 1. Doorstep. And instead of going down to the E, it goes down to the F sharp. That's the 6th scale degree because that F sharp is in the D chord. So again, if this is too much for you, you're probably going to have to watch some of those other videos. For those of you who can follow, we'll keep going. But it's a lot of just that simple idea. A ton of chord tones. A little bit of neighbor, a little bit of passing. Ain't got no loose change. So we're back on the A. 1, 2, 1. So there's a neighbor again, chord tone, neighbor, chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. Then just a hanging on my jeans. Here we've got a bunch of chord tones. 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. Here's a great example of a quick suspension because he goes to the E chord here. Da-na. You have the suspension creates a tension because that, whatever note that is, a C sharp, that third scale degree is not in an E chord. Da, but he resolves it. And that's all what songwriting is about. You set up tension or a question or a feeling of uncertainty, and then it's resolved. And that's what the musical journey is all about. And it can't be tension all the time because it's too grating, right? That's like atonal music. So, hence, you're seeing a ton of chord tones with a little bit of color, a little bit of tension, and then it's always resolved. And it's beautiful. Third line is basically the same as the first one. Don't need to go over it. If you need somebody, would you send them over my way? Last line, we have 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 3. But that 2, 1, 2, 1's over the D chord. So it's the 1, right? The 4, 6, and the 1 are in the D chord. Sorry, this is hard to explain to do it quickly if you haven't noticed. But look at that chart and take this stuff slow, right? So the D chord has 4, 6, and 1. We're going 2, which is the neighborhood tone, creating tension. Back to a chord tone, off on the neighbor, back to a chord tone. Then here he goes to the A chord, which is the 1, 3, and the 5 scale degrees. He jumps to the 5 and plays the 3. So they're both chord tones. There we go, we're doing this. Then we go to the E chord, and it has a 5, a 7, and a 2. And we have 5, 5. We pass through the 3 on our way to the 2. So it's a passing note. Back up to 3, but right back down to 2. So there we call it a neighbor, even though it's the same note. And then we go to, on the A chord, we go to the A, right? We go to the note 1, which is in the 1 chord. Now here, this is a really cool transition. We're still on the A chord, but we see a lot of the note D. So in other words, 1, 3, 5. But he's kind of banging on the 4 a lot. And I think, even though it's not a strict anticipation, it's kind of anticipating that we're transitioning to that D chord. And if you notice there, because it's not a chord tone, there is a lot of tension, right? I can see your back porch, and it's finally resolved on that D. So that's how I'm hearing that. I know these purples, again, are in strict anticipations because he goes to the 6 before he gives you the 4 on the D chord. But you get the idea. It's a lot of that 4th scale degree before we go to the 4th chord. Yeah, I can see your back porch. So tension, tension, chord tone, tension. And then we go to the D. And now those 2 notes are no longer a tension, they're in the chord. So it's kind of just a big anticipation there. A lot of question or angst, right? I can see your back. When you play it slow, it almost is like, oh, that's too much. I can see your... But when it's quick, I can see your back porch. And you get to that resolve quicker in time. So it's a great use of tension. And here we have 6, 4, 6, 4. Those are both in the D chord because the D chord's 4, 6, and 1. Chord tone, chord tone. Then we go to the A chord, 5, 3, which are both chord tones. And we stay on that A, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5, 3. It's all chord tones, nice and stable. 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. And we go to the 5 chord. We have a quick use of that tension again. There's no 3 scale degree in there. 3, 2, but he slides and resolves it real quickly. And then we don't have to go over the ending because basically the end of this chorus is kind of the same as the end of the verse. Right, all that's familiar. Ba-da-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na. It's up to you guys to really go slow and follow along with the song as you look at this. And just notice anytime that the numbers are black, you're just going to go, oh yeah, that does sound like totally fine and at rest. And anytime there's a color, you're going to hear a bit of that tension in there. Now, I know this is an oversimplification because the chords themselves are creating tension as well, not just the melody, but that's a whole nother conversation, that interplay between the harmony and the melody itself. But just doing this is really going to give your ear a huge up in its game in terms of listening, how to write a melody, how to think about it. And you're just going to start to see all sorts of patterns. And we didn't even talk about the phrasing, like how a great melody is built. And that's also really simple. You might have like a little phrase with a slightly different ending. Then you develop that phrase and you end it with a cadence. But that's another video. Please comment down below. I need you guys to comment. Let me know if this pacing was too fast or too slow, if you were able to follow or if you're totally lost. And again, check out that melody writing playlist on my channel, as well as the Music Theory 101 I mentioned. I'll remind myself to put them down in the video description. Little tab underneath this video as well. Boom! Until next time. Gang Mike's Music Method.